Morning. We're going to have another um, testimony. Today's testimony is from Shane Butts. Where is Shane? There he is. Come on up, Shane. We've done several of these over the last several weeks. The last couple of weeks we haven't had one, but today Shane's going to tell us a little about his story. God bless
you. Good morning, everybody. Everybody finds God a different way. Some of us have a little bit harder road to go down. It's a little bit more difficult. But I just wanted to share my life experiences so far, and like I said, everybody is a little different for everybody. I am from Clarksville. Growing up, I lived in what I thought was a Christian middle class family. My dad worked at a train. My mom stayed at home with my brother and I. We attended Central Chapel, the Methodist church at the end of Dotsonville Road. Growing up, I was in children's church. I was in all the plays. I did, all the fun stuff that that kids did, and from what I can remember, everything was normal and the way it should be. My mom and dad, they were pretty strict. We were going to go to church on Sunday. We were gonna pray every night. I knew what wrong. I knew what was wrong and what was right. But I was kind of hit with a incident when I was 10 years old. My parents divorced. They no longer could live together. So my brother and I, we stayed with my mom, and didn't see my dad a whole lot. Once, maybe once every other weekend, But mom had to start working, and one job wasn't enough to take care of me and my brother. So, two jobs, sometimes three jobs. So my brother and I, we were kind of left at home. I mean, we went to school, got home from school, but it may be 8, 9, 10 o'clock for my mother got home, and so we did what we wanted to do. If we wanted to, you know, run with friends until they were called home to their mom and mom and dad, we did, and we did some things that kids probably shouldn't do, but that's just, I guess that's what kids do. Um, my brother, he was younger than I, and he needed more of a structured life. I mean, he was not happy, not having a mom and a dad there to cook for him and so forth. So he went to live with my grandparents, who were really, they were great, Christian. They took really good care of him. I stayed with my mom. Well, we moved around a bunch. We ended up in Georgia and Florida. Mom was always trying to provide for me as best as she could, and I enjoyed the freedom. She was always gone. I was always doing what I wanted. So by the time I was 15, I found a really nice group of guys that I liked hanging out. We started smoking. We started drinking. We got high. We did a lot of things that we shouldn't do, but heck, I was in control of my own life. I could do whatever I wanted to do. At 17, I got tired of mom trying to tell me what to do every once in a while, so I left the house and moved in with a couple other guys, and had odd jobs. I always worked. I always made some type of paycheck, so I was always able to do what I wanted to do, whether it was go out and get drunk, go out and get high. I could do it all. I mean, I did what I wanted, when I wanted, and how I wanted. Um, then at 18, I got my first DUI. Imagine that. I made it from 15 to 18, drinking and driving whenever I wanted, got a DUI. But I was living my life exactly the way I wanted to live it. I didn't need anyone or anything telling me what to do. If we fast forward a few years, I'm 25 years old. I've been living this party lifestyle for quite a while now, and it's kind of time to settle down a little bit. So I'd actually come back to Clarksville, and I applied for a job at Jenkins and Wynn as a sales rep, and I got the job. And I was good enough, likable enough, personable enough. I could get out there and I could get in front of people. I could sell cars, and I made some money. I made more money than I'd ever seen before. The more cars I sold, the more money I made. And as the money came in, my responsibility again started going out the door. As soon as I started work, I found out that several of the guys, as soon as we got off work, they went down to a place called the Brary. It was a local pub. There's a parking lot now in front of Austin P. And once it was just an occasional thing that we did. We'd go once, maybe twice. We'd go on a Friday night or a Saturday night. But that didn't last very long, and I found myself visiting there every single night. And I thought I loved beer, but that soon went to the wayside. I didn't like beer anymore. I had new friends: Evan Williams, Jack Daniels, Jim Beam. They were my best friends. That's who I hung out with. And I thought when I drank, I was funnier, I was smarter, and I could drive better. And that led me to DUI number 2. Now, believe it or not, I still prayed to God. I prayed to God a lot. But when I prayed to Him, it was, if you'll just let me get out of this one circumstance, this one position, hey, man, have that cop turn them blue lights off and drive on, I promise I will never, well, I'm not going to promise that. I promise I won't drink as much as I'm drinking right now. I was always praying, but I was praying for my will. I wanted what I wanted. I wasn't praying for God's will. I didn't know what I was doing. But something did change my life. March 14th, 2005, Lucas was born. And there was finally something out there that I loved more than myself and more than alcohol. And I thought, maybe God did have a purpose for me. Maybe, I was supposed to take care of this little guy right here. Now, I hadn't quit drinking, but, I was somehow able to slow down enough to, of course, in my eyes, to take care of the family at the time. And that, seemed to be going all right. But me and Lucas's mother, we were both heading in different directions, and things didn't work out between us, and we parted ways. But it's funny how God always has a plan for you. I'm starting a divorce process. I'm going through a divorce, and Angela, she was in the middle of a pretty nasty divorce herself. Now, we had worked together for a very, very long time. I mean, years. We had worked together, but our paths had never crossed. I mean, she was going this way, I was going that way. I mean, there was never really a time that, but we developed a friendship like, I had never experienced before. I found peace in sharing with her my life experiences. I told her everything. I told her the good, I told her the bad, I told her the ugly, and there was a lot of ugly out there. But we were best friends. And love quickly grew out of that, and on December 12th of 2006, we were married. So here I am, I've got 2 beautiful kids, a beautiful loving wife, and I had a new home in Pardue Church because, Angela's been coming here a very long time, and, she said that's something that you need in your life. You need a good church home, and you need God. And I started coming here, and I started feeling good about myself. And, I come to realize that God had never left me. I had left God. I had turned my back on the one person that could save my soul. And I gazed at the wonders of God and His majesty. My life was at the highest point it could ever be. Everything was going my way. What could go wrong? I'd been in control of my drinking for several years now. I mean, I still drink, but I mean, I had control on it. Nothing could go wrong. It was maintainable. But I was wrong. I soon found myself in a worse condition than I was than before Lucas was born. Angela, she saw that I had a problem as well. And, she would talk to me about it. I promised her, I'll cut back. That was a lie. I promised, hey, I'm not going to drink no more whiskey. I'm only going to drink beer. That's a lie. I promised that I was only going to drink just on the weekends, just a little bit on the weekends. That too was a lie. I was consumed by the feeling I got from alcohol. Completely consumed. I didn't care about anything else. Nothing. I didn't care about my family. I didn't care about my work. I didn't care about anything but when I was going to be able to drink again. I mean, I made our lives so unbearable at home. I mean, it was ridiculous. Angela and I's marriage was about to be over. Our family, as far as I was concerned, I was a drunk. That's all I was. I would lay around. I would do nothing with Lucas. I was very disrespectful to my daughter, and even more so to my wife. I could no longer distinguish between what was real and what was fantasy. My life was completely unmanageable. It was on April 7th, 2016. I was pulled over for speeding over on the bypass. By the grace of God, the officer smelled alcohol on me, and he arrested me and took me to jail. That's number 3. Angela, being the wife that she was, she did come and get me out of jail. I don't know that, I could have done that for what I've put her through and our family, but I got home and I sat there and, all of a sudden, life had become real quick. Angela was ready for me to leave. I mean, that's completely understandable. Lucas's mom, she had filed a restraining order against me. She didn't want her son around that. Who would? My job, it was spiraling down the toilet. It was gone. I'd had a problem for a very long time, but I just really didn't know how to fix it. For the next couple of days, I did call some rehab facilities, made some calls, but everyone that I talked to, it was going to be weeks, months. I mean, there was no immediate help, and I needed some help quick. The night of April 10th, which was a Sunday, I did come to church that day, and I knelt before the altar, and I prayed to God. One of the guys at my work who had heard about what had happened, he came and joined me at the altar with his hand on my shoulder, and I did have a little relief. But I got home that night and I'm contemplating again. Do I go into the cabinet and grab that bottle who's been my friend for such a long time that's where I knew my world. That's the world that I lived in. Or do I pray some more? And I prayed. I grabbed my Bible out and I started I was going through. I would read a paragraph here. I'd read a paragraph there, and something led me to 1 Corinthians 10:13, and it says that no temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. When you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. And God did just that. The next day, I still, unbelievably enough, I still had a job. But the next day at work, a coworker of mine said, "Hey, my father has been to a place called Cumberland Heights." And I said, "Man, I've already called there. It's going to be, weeks, months. I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know what I'm going to do." He said, "Let me have my dad call." And he was an alumni there, and he made a few calls, and he got me in. And within 2 hours of him making a phone call, I was scheduled to check in the next day. Now, Cumberland Heights, going in, they have 3 pertinent ideas or beliefs that the 30 days that you're in there, what they distill. First thing you have to understand is we admitted that we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Number 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And 3, made a decision to turn our will and our life over to the care of God. Well, that was 611 days ago. I can't change who I was or the horrible things that I did in my life. I can't repay that back to my family. Sorry, just isn't enough. But I do have a life now that would not be possible if not for the grace that God has had for me. I have a wife that I think loves me more than she ever has. I have a beautiful daughter who once hated what I was, but loves me and respects the decisions I make for our family. And I have a son who actually values our time together and is not ashamed to call me his dad. Now, my life's not perfect, but it's not supposed to be. My life is real, and I'm so blessed to be living in it. God has given me a second opportunity to be what He wants us all to be, His child.